So imagine you just hit over 300 sales on a brand new Etsy shop, all for it to be taken away overnight with a shop suspension. That could also lead to all of your shops being potentially shut down. So that is exactly what happened with my brand new Etsy hybrid shop. And here's why I decided to move it completely off of Etsy onto my own site, which I really didn't have a choice in the matter. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built this brand new shop with AI and a really simple system that anyone can copy. If you are new around here, I am the owner of Bailey Design Co., a 7-figure digital design shop on Etsy, which is my main shop. And I now teach others how to create the same types of shops on this YouTube channel and in my online community, the AI Design and Grow Club. But this video is not about my original main shop. It is all about a brand new shop I decided to start back in June and document my process along the way to prove that a new shop could still be successful in 2025. I do have an entire video up here about my hybrid shop idea, how I chose the audience, and how I was building it if you do want to check that out later. But basically, a hybrid shop is just a shop that sells both print-on-demand products and digital products for one specific audience or niche. And since I won't be selling on Etsy anymore, in this video, I'll be able to reveal exactly what my audience was, why I chose it, and how I created those products. So I also built my hybrid shop in real time in the AI Design and Grow Club for my members to follow along. That means each week I decided on my niche, I built out my product lineup, I created them, I created my digital products using PLR or private label rights, all in a step-by-step format so that they could follow along. As I've since finished building it, it is now fully available for you just to go through end to end. It probably only takes a couple hours and you could have a full hybrid shop up and running. So the audience that I chose for this shop was basically myself. And when you do this, as far as choosing your audience based on something that you are especially familiar with or a member of yourself or have done a lot of research of, it makes creation of the products that much easier because you are already creating something that you would hopefully purchase yourself. So this shop was designed for me, a busy mom of 4 kids who has ADHD and who has started multiple online businesses, specifically Etsy shops. So it's kind of that female entrepreneur or boss babe or mompreneur type of a style. The entire purpose and goal of a hybrid shop with one specific audience is that you are creating products that someone is going to come back and purchase again and again, as long as you are releasing new and relevant products. So you're not constantly chasing new customers, you are just building a loyal base of fans that hopefully come back and purchase again and again as you release new relevant product. If you are doing this completely on Etsy, it kind of gets rid of the algorithm because you're not worrying about ranking each product, because as I talk about in this video, you are building an email list at the same time. So every time you do release a new product, you can be in constant contact with them. And again, not worrying about the Etsy algorithm or about competition because you have a connection with your buyer, and you can just send them, say, the new Christmas sweatshirt that you just designed, and a certain percentage of them will always purchase. So before I go into how I validated the demand for this niche and got certain types of design aesthetic inspiration, I want to go into a little bit about why I just decided to keep it off of Etsy completely. Number one is that Etsy is selling on rented land. And while it is really good to test ideas and the demand for your products, you really never own your customers or your shop, and it can be shut down at any time, which is what happened to me. Now, I could go back and forth with Etsy customer service and appeal and get the shop back eventually. However, my concern is that in many cases, Etsy is just doing this with bots and not any type of human review. And I have several other successful digital shops on Etsy that I do not want touched or shut down, which is why I am just leaving it as is. Etsy for me has served its purpose In this case, validating the demand and the sales for the products, both digital and print on demand. And this is all I really wanted from it in the first place. Now I'll be able to sell on my own shop with proven products at a much less transaction and processing fee. So my profit margin is going to increase by minimum 10% just by selling on my own site. Now, as you're probably wondering, well, then where am I going to get the traffic for this? Because Etsy, that is part of why you pay all of those fees, is because they do have a built-in traffic source. And the way that I'm getting around this is by social media. So I'll be using Pinterest and Instagram specifically. You may or may not from time to time see my products linked under these YouTube videos as shopping links, because as I'm using Shopify, they can be displayed there as well. And this, of course, is all going to be done using AI. Now, I actually did purchase several of the products just because I wanted to look at the quality and I wanted to take some of my own pictures of myself in them. This is actually one of the ones that I'm wearing right now. Don't worry if you don't have the means or the funds to be purchasing your own product. As you can see, or maybe can't see, this is actually embroidered, and it's very, very hard to create mock-ups that actually look embroidered with the typical types of Etsy mock-ups that you find. But in this video, I will again show you how easy it is with AI that I was able to generate these for my shop and for my social media. Okay, so let's get into how I validated the demand for this particular niche. Now, when I typed in things like female entrepreneur or ADHD mom, Etsy seller, mompreneur, online business owner, boss babe, those types of terms are really, really popular on Etsy. And so I could already see that there is proven demand for this particular niche. Now, what I didn't see was a combination or hybrid of moms with ADHD who start online businesses. Often Etsy businesses may or may not have shiny object syndrome. And then, of course, something that is very particular to myself, which is a love of Highland cows, but we'll get into that in a little bit more of how that worked into the niche itself. So while I saw a lot of demand in the female entrepreneur space as far as like social media graphics for their business or lots of different type of inspirational and motivational apparel, there wasn't something specific to what I am, which is predominantly an Etsy digital product seller, someone who has ADHD, someone who is a mom of 4. And so that is what is known in the business world as a gap in the market, meaning I can come in and fill that because there's not going to be any competition, but there is a big enough sphere of very closely related niches that I can tap into as far as the keywords and the search. So once I had my niche narrowed down, it's time to start planning and creating the products. Again, if you watch that video, it will go over how I am specifically only creating 4 to 5 print-on-demand products in the beginning and 4 to 5 digital products after a lot of research. So knowing this, it's time to hop into ChatGPT and I'll show you exactly how I came up with all of the products that I ended up creating, mocking up, and publishing, and then eventually selling. I actually uploaded a video of my hybrid shop method to try and get it to understand. Of course, I was not thinking and it cannot watch the video. I should have just uploaded the transcript so it could reference it. So you can definitely do that. You can go to that video on the channel, download the transcript, upload it so that your chat really understands what a hybrid shop is for Etsy, so it has some context. Thankfully, my chat is very, very familiar with everything that I do, as I put everything in there as far as projects, files, transcripts, etc. So it does know. So basically, I just asked it to give me a list of 30 t-shirt ideas for someone who has ADHD, is an online female entrepreneur, or likes to start Etsy shops. They should all be snarky, sarcastic, funny. So then it started out giving me a mix between these ones are ADHD plus business snark, ADHD humor meets entrepreneur life, sarcastic, relatable, ADHD energy. And I always start out with a really, really high amount, like 30, because usually 90% of them are not going to be usable unless I go back and forth with it. So it's better just to start off with a really big pool. I took some of the ones that I liked from that list. I then went on to ask it to give me 30 more that are sarcastic vibe, female entrepreneur, Etsy shop owner without ADHD, but still moms hustling. So these are the ones that I really wanted that were dedicated towards moms. Some of these have not yet been added to the new site and are on the list to do because I really did start out with a lower amount, and I'll go into how I chose those in just a moment. Now, really quick, I did create an entire guide on how to create your product lineup, both digital products and print-on-demand products for your hybrid shop in a ChatGPT prompt format. If you do want access to that, just comment the word chat down below and we will send you the link to that. This will just keep it really organized for you, and all you have to do is insert your niche. Next, I asked for some positive and inspiring ones just because I don't want to be all sarcastic and somewhat negative or passive aggressive in the designs, though I will say those are the ones that ended up selling the best. So do keep that in mind when you are looking at your niche and what is probably more prone to sell than not. I then went on to ask for the 20 digital product ideas that would be specific to this niche, and it gave me a lot of good examples. And the digital product that ended up selling best was just a digital planner, but a very specific one for moms with ADHD who start online businesses, which should be really clear in understanding that the more niche that you are, the better opportunity your products are going to probably sell. Then I actually had it rank my products, which would be the fastest and easiest to sell that had the highest profit margin capability. So I think that this part is really important to give you a list of what to actually work on first. Again, this will be included in the guide, but this will just give you a really clear direction on what to create first, in what order, so you can get there as fast as possible. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move into the design process, because this is really important. Because for me, the products that ended up selling the best were actually embroidered items. And personally, in my past print-on-demand stores, I had never sold embroidered items before. So this was quite a learning curve for me, and I ended up having a lot of lessons to learn, though Printify was really, really great with the back and forth as far as getting my files, the requirements exactly how they needed to be. So we'll go over a few tips for that if you end up doing something that is embroidered in just a moment. So this is my live shop right now, and as you can see, I have this really beautiful header banner image up here, and this is actually the one that I'm wearing right now. This is not a real picture, this is AI generated, but you can see how detailed and embroidered it looks. You can see the shadows, you can see like the texture of the sweatshirt, and this was done with AI, and actually an AI tool that I have not used on this channel before. So do stick around for just a little bit longer and I'll show you exactly how to make these, especially if you are in the print-on-demand space and needing to generate these types of mock-ups, or you're just doing this for your digital products as well and trying to stand out and, you know, step away from the overused and done Etsy mockups that are out there. So over here in Printify, I am just under the My Products tab, which is right here. And you can see I have some sweatshirts. They are all embroidered as far as what is available right now on the shop. I will have the shop link down in the description if you do want to check it out. There's also a discount code if you are someone who aligns with the messaging that I am putting out in the world as far as ADHD mom, business owner, shiny object syndrome chaser type of a person. That will be down in the description below. But I have some sweatshirts, some hats, coffee mugs, tumblers, and then my digital products will actually be added on later this week, as I decided to make some edits due to some feedback from the ones that were selling in that digital planner. So that will be up a little bit later. So the product that I ended up choosing is the Gildan 1800 for the sweatshirt. I may or may not add the Comfort Colors one in a little bit. I didn't have the opportunity to actually test that one, but I went with the 18,000 because in my past print-on-demand shop, this was my absolute bestseller, specifically the sand colored one. So I know it's a proven product choice, which is why I added this one first. As a side note, the sweatshirts do not have a cutoff look like this. I did do this myself, so just letting you know they don't look like this. I'm just, you know, here with the fall type of a off the shoulder vibe. So do know that they do look normal and they don't come this way. You would have to cut it if you wanted it to look this way. Okay, so first what I'm going to show you in Printify is the really easy way to get embroidered products done. And this is the one that I'm wearing now, which is just a very basic Arial font and then just some little stars. I just made this very quickly in Canva, as it's really just all about the messaging on this one. And my entire goal with these products was just to stick to single color threads and very basic word designs like this, so I wouldn't run into any type of graphic design issues with embroidery, because just given what I've heard, it can be quite a nightmare as far as matching colors. And if there are gradients and things like that, I wanted to stay away from that. So with this one, it did really well. There were no issues with this one. I just want to open this up real quickly to show you a few things. Having come back to Printify and my print on demand shop from a couple years of a break, there are some new things to note, and that first of all is the large center chest area that allows the printing. So prior, when I used to use it or was testing it a bit ago with the center chest, it was a really small, just little box area. So they have enlarged that, which is really great for designs like this, because these are really, really popular on Etsy, not just in this niche, but in all types, to have this bigger space. So I will say that that is one of the best things. All I did was upload this here from my device, and then placed it as basically as high as the design can go, without going over the little area that is the guideline area. After that, I just chose my colors, select my variants, and then clicked save product. Now with Printify, if you click on preview over here, you're going to get some auto-generated mockups, though they are not going to be anything that is really usable for Etsy or for your own Shopify site or for social media. However, because it is really clear as far as what it looks like and as close to the embroidered style that we're looking for, it's still really important at this point to grab some of these screenshots, because I'm going to show you how you can put this into an AI tool and have it come out looking like some of the ones that I was able to generate. So you can find those over here under the preview. You can screenshot them here, just grab them here. That's all you will really need. Or you can actually push them to your store and download them from there, but I wouldn't take the time to be doing that. I would just screenshot this because this is all that you're really going to need. Just grabbing the image of the folded version here is fine. You don't need to grab it of the big one, because with the prompt, you'll be saying it's a sweatshirt, and this is enough for the AI to grab to put it into a realistic type of a lifestyle mock-up. Now, one of the best things about offering embroidered products in your shop or your own site is the way better profit margin that you get compared to just regular screen printing or direct to garment printing. And that is because the increased value of course, it being embroidered, and also, in my opinion, they just last longer, and they just look higher quality. If you move down here in Printify, you can see this little pricing box, and this will really help you to optimize your price. This isn't what I have it set at right now. It's a little bit higher, but if you click this optimize button, it will optimize it based on what it is grabbing from industry markets at what is currently selling. So they say to price it at about $47.99. Mine are quite a bit lower, so I could look at raising it, but mine were going off of Etsy prices, so being on my own site, I might be able to raise it a little bit, but as you can see, that is anywhere from a 39 to 53% profit margin. So I'm making anywhere from $18 to $25 a sale. Of course, be sure to add in your site's transaction fees or Etsy's transaction and processing fees as well. Now, I actually charge for shipping, so whatever it is here is what the customer is charged. So I don't add in any of that in my product price. this. I just make it really easy on myself as far as not having to calculate a shipping cost in this price profit margin. And that is just to keep my sanity. But also keep in mind that the majority of you will probably want to run sales on Etsy. I know I do, and I do on my Shopify site right now. And so do keep that in mind when pricing that you might be running a 10% or 25% off sale, which is like what I'm doing right now, when you are looking at exactly what you're making, so you know that you're still making a good enough profit. Once you have all of this information filled out, it's really easy just to hit publish. I do have my Shopify site hooked up to this, so it will just publish immediately over there. Or you could have your Etsy shop hooked up here, same type of situation where you just grant access to the shop that you're signed in on, and then it will publish over. Now, I do want to go over the one where I really messed up the digitalization. And this, in all honesty, is my own fault because I did not take the time to really read in detail the guidelines that they have set up. So I highly recommend to follow their embroidery guidelines. They give you a lot of information to make it really easy if you were just to pay attention. But what I ended up doing was having a little bit too much of gradients and not close enough colors to what's actually approved embroidery thread colors. So this is the one that I ended up making. And again, it's just because I wanted to be more designy, because I come from the sublimation design world where it's all about the graphic design. But I also wanted to make something that was very fall and include a lot of my favorite things. So this one actually has already been digitalized, if that is the word. So this one is correct, but the original one had lots of shading in the leaf here. It had different colors that were not part of the thread availability colors in the coffee cup. There was more shading on the pumpkin. And so it ended up not being approved for embroidery. And the way that this works with Printify is actually really easy. They just sent an email that said it didn't meet all of the requirements. And here is what it would look like with it actually being digitized correctly with the exact colors and without, of course, the gradients. And did I approve it or not? It was a very simple process. All I did was answer back in the email, yes, this is approved and good to go. And then the orders went into production. Now that I understand more the embroidery process, I'll most likely be looking at adding a lot more of these embroidered items that they do have, since again, I've only done it on the sweatshirt and then one of the hats, which I'll show you in just a moment. I was looking, it's this hat right here, this vintage cap, and this one did come out really easy. No issues with this, again, just because it was single color Arial type of a font text. But there are a ton of products, as you can see here, that are all embroidered or have embroidered capability. And so I'm really excited to be able to add a lot more different products because, again, from a few years ago, there just wasn't very much that you can do. Like, I really want to add these sweatpants here. So these would be super cute and something I might look at adding. And this is just probably going to be something that is never ending for me, because if a design starts to take off on one product, I'll most likely test it on another. Okay, so moving on to how I was able to mock these up very realistically, being embroidered products. Again, if you've been in the space any length of time, you know how difficult this is. There are all types of Photoshop hacks that you can try and do, and specific ways that you can edit it and manipulate it. Sometimes it ends up working, but it's very time consuming. And if you hate Photoshop like me, that is the last thing that you want to be doing. So thanks to the new Nano Banana AI generator that has recently come out. This has been made possible in just a few seconds. So I'm going to hop over here to, I have it open in AI Studio. .google.com. I believe you can go to Gemini something. I've also used it in my FAL account as well, which is just a place where there's tons of AI apps, just due to how many credits I have and where. But all you're going to want to do if you are using it in Google AI Studio, and it actually works the same in those other ones as well. So if you're using the Nano Banana somewhere else, it's the same process. So all I've done is open up a chat here, and I've added that that screenshot from Printify right here. Then I said, turn this into a lifestyle mock-up photo with fall leaves and pumpkins. Make sure the text is really clear and easy to read and is still embroidered. This part is really important because I didn't have this before and it had it really zoomed out. It had it not looking very embroidered. So do keep that part on there just to make sure that you're getting that same effect. So this is what it came out with. Very, very cute, realistic looking mock-up. I didn't ask for it to like flat lay it over the bench or have this type of like blurred bokeh background of like a fall patio. So the fact that it did this without me asking and just did a fall lifestyle mock-up is really, really great. This is the fastest generator that I've seen to date as far as any of them out there, and I test a lot of them. This took just a couple of seconds and it was over and done with, and it was so good that I decided to use this one as one of the main banner images on my site. Okay, so this next use case wasn't necessarily generating a mock-up with it, though I have some more that I'll show in just a moment. I wanted to test and see if I could change the color into all of the other colors that Printify has so that I'm not either purchasing it or trying to generate it. So I took a quick headshot of myself with it here, very clear, and then all I said was change the sweatshirt color to black. And as you can see, it changed it to black, no issue at all. And so now this gets rid of the issue of needing to purchase or, you know, even just screenshot them. You can just say change the color. So I did that actually in some of the other ones where I generated it first with the original green one and then just go ahead and change it into other colors. So that is this example here. I said the same type of prompt with the fall leaves and the pumpkins, make it embroidered, but it was one of the different quotes or sayings on here. And this is what it came out with next. So super cute, very detailed as far as the text and the embroidered effect. Again, a completely different layout that it gave me compared to the first one. And then I said, now make the sweatshirt black. Then I decided to take it a step further and put it on a mock-up. So I said, put the sweatshirt on a young woman wearing sunglasses, standing in a pile of leaves facing the camera directly. Again, make sure it's clear and easy to read. And here we go. So a really beautiful lifestyle mock-up. This will do really, really well on the Instagram account. So this just goes to show that you can continue doing your edits all in the same chat. So you can just keep chatting back and forth with one image or one mock-up and get it to do a wide variety, anything that you could possibly need for both your shop or for your social media graphics. This is another example of I did of the favorite things one with different types of mock-ups. So I'm still using the exact same thing here in every chat flow with the fall leaves and the pumpkins. And then I just uploaded this bigger one. I uploaded this bigger one specifically because I wanted to show the little leaves that are really cute on the sleeves to make sure that it generated that. So this one, I did get a woman here. So you can see the detail of the little embroidered leaf down here. It looks really, really great up here. Then I had her change to a coffee shop. So again, really cute, detailed, a little bit AI looking in the face. I could make that a little bit more realistic and not so AI perfect looking, but that is to work on for another day. This one, I asked for a flat lay mock-up and I really like this one, but as you can see, it generated the little leaf right here on the center part of the sweatshirt. So all I did was say, remove the leaf from the bottom left of the sweatshirt, and it did it. So it will do in chat editing really easily, so you're not worried about that, and it just makes it so quick and easy. So here is one of the hats that I did, and I actually have the hat here so that you can see how cute this is. This actually has a little Highland cow on it, if you can see that. I'm probably way too, I think I need to be out of it. So I added Highland cows just because he has a really moody looking face in this. And it's just one of my things that I like to say whenever things aren't going my way on Etsy or YouTube or Instagram or really any place that has an algorithm, I just blame it on the algorithm. So I asked for the same type of prompt, or I put in the same type of prompt. The only thing with this is it gave it a really clean looking hat. Now I ended up still using it, but it's not as distressed as this one actually is. So I would have to work on it and make the hat a little bit more distressed if I wanted it to be really close. Finally, I did one of my tumblers, and I had originally put this on one of my mock-ups that shows all three sides, just so you can see what it looks like on each of the three sides of the tumbler. But I wanted a realistic one, and this came out basically perfect. And so this ended up going on the shop as well. So over here in the shop, you can see that all of these look really, really, branded and, well, very fallish, just because they kind of all fall in that realm with the sweatshirts and some of the designs. I don't look like I match too much. I will probably switch it to this one. I just wanted to show that you could put it in there if you wanted to. You could have realistic ones. You're technically not supposed to show a face in a mock-up the way that I am. It should be more cut off like that, which really works better for AI mock-ups anyway, just because their face can look really perfect and it looks AI generated. If you cut it off like about where her mouth is, that is kind of what you're supposed to do with mock-ups, because it can have an effect on conversions if someone doesn't necessarily align with the way that they look and what they look, and so it deters from the purchase. So just a little tip, you should keep your mock-ups cut off. I'm just on here because this is my site and this isn't on Etsy. It doesn't really matter. You're probably only here on this site if you know it's mine in the first place. So all of these images will be really, really great for Instagram carousel post product images. Like, they look very lifestyle-y and realistic enough to be put on Instagram. They don't look like too shoppy looking. But what about video? And so this is where you are going to see the most amount of traffic, is if you are putting up something like Reels on Instagram. So all I did was come over to Google's new VO3. Now I do have this open in the Thal.ai account, and all I did was upload that woman in the leaves and say, woman looking at the camera, walking towards it, leaves blowing and subtle wind blowing and movement. You can access VO3 in a number of different places, but as you can see, I got her with the leaves moving around. I probably wouldn't end up using this one just because I don't like when they walk straight. I should have had her be doing something else. But it's just showing you that how good the placement looks as far as the embroidered shirt, the mock-up. I mean, it looks very, very realistic, although a bit too staged in my opinion. But this is what I'll be doing as far as adding reels of my products to market them on Instagram. If you are doing something just like Pinterest, then you'll just be worrying about more of these lifestyle image photos that are like this, because you're just pinning directly either from your Etsy shop mock-up listings or from your Shopify site, and so you don't really have to worry about video too much. So what is next for my new shop? The goal is to add at least 2 to 3 products per week and then spend the majority of the time on it, which will only probably be about, maybe, if I'm estimating correctly, probably 30 to 45 minutes per week marketing it, because I'll just be generating all of these in AI, different types of mock-ups, animating them, and then scheduling them for Pinterest and Instagram. So it's a really quick process. If you do want to see an entire video about that, do be sure to let me know down in the comments and I will add it to the list. Now, I do want to specify not to be scared to start off on Etsy. In fact, the majority of people do not get suspended. I'm not really sure what happened with the shop, though I was navigating in between shops quite a bit. I did access it from a different IP, which could have something to do with it, as this has happened where I've had shops locked down when I'm out of the country and accessing my Etsy store, which is why I don't let the VA access it anymore. And they go through a different uploading app just because it seems to mess up when I log in from different locations. So I don't want to scare anyone off from starting off on Etsy. I purposely am just leaving it alone because I have other shops that make too much money to be messing around with as far as jeopardizing those shops specifically. Etsy is one of the fastest ways to validate if your design, niche, and demand is actually there. So it is the best way to test, but I always recommend to my students to have an exit plan in place because you really never know. And again, it is not our shop. Also, if you do have an existing Etsy shop, but you're not seeing the sales that you want to, I do recommend that you check out my Etsy seller score quiz, which is right here. It's free. It takes like 2 minutes, and it's going to show you what maybe your roadblocks might be and how to fix them. That link for that will be down in the description below. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.